It is Wednesday, December 22nd in the NBA, and I am back with my 4 best picks of the day, plus a long shot parlay of the day, which will be a feature the rest of 2021 and maybe next year. Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Something just doesn't feel right this Wednesday. Give me a second. Yeah, baby, you see it. Yeah, you see it. Yesterday, we brought out the brooms, a 4-0 clean sweep. We had Miles Turner, best bet of the day, under 8.5 rebounds. No sweat bet, although he did have 4 in the first 5 minutes. You never have to doubt the man. Alec Burks, under 26.5 PRAs, cash it. Malik Beasley, under 4.5 rebounds, cash it. The Suns, minus 6.5, completing the sweep. Shout out to you, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and DeAndre Jordan. We appreciate you guys for your service. But man, oh man, it feels good getting some extra gifts for the holidays. We're in the holiday spirit over here, so we're hoping we can continue this good run. If you are new to the channel, consider clicking that subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. Not asking for any gifts from you guys, but if you want to give the Calling Our Shot community a gift, it would be your subscription. We appreciate it. We're almost at 17,000 subscribers, which is unreal. At this time last year, I think we had about 23 subscribers. So pretty cool. If you want to smash that like button too for the sweep, we would appreciate it. Not even to mention in the NFL, we were 10-4 over this past weekend. So very good for the Calling Our Shot community. We continue to go to the moon. We want you to join along. And last note, it is a great day because today we have our weekly live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be on YouTube, also on our Twitter account. If you're not following us there, go follow us. But we'll have our live stream. I'll be on YouTube just answering every single question you guys got. So 6 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure what that is in your time zone, but make sure you're there. I want to see you guys, and we'll be answering all your questions, pulling them up on screen, just going through it. Our last couple notes, weekly podcast live today, 10 a.m. Eastern time as well. Thursday Night Football Best Bets will be live, as well as our first college football Best Bets video of the college football bowl season. That'll be live later today or maybe tomorrow morning. So dial on in. Let's get into it. I'm going to start with my best bet of the day. Cooking it up, Nikola Jokic. We're taking his over, 21.5 rebounds plus assists. If we can bring out the brooms again, we'll probably go wild on tomorrow's video. Probably whip out a Santa hat. Who knows what the heck's going to go down. But Nikola Jokic, we're taking his over, 21.5 rebounds plus assists, minus 120. I know this is a high line, and I don't blame him. And now if you don't have rebounds plus assists line, I'd probably lean his over in rebounds. Now, Nikola, he's got a terrific matchup on his plate. I wish I put out a fork or a spoon because this man's going to be feasting tonight, taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, to be honestly nice, they've been bad against the opposing centers. They're currently, over their past 15 games, giving up the second most rebounds per game at over 18 per game to opposing centers. And they're giving up the 12th most assists per game as a whole overall over that same time span, their last 15 games. Now, the Nuggets, they're pretty banged up, missing some guys, just like every single other team in the NBA. But they could be without JaMychal Green and Aaron Gordon, two of their bigger, power forward guys. And Nikola, let's be honest, he carries this team. He does this week, day in and day out. He carries this team as a whole. Over his last 10 games, averaging 13.3 rebounds per game, 9 assists per game for 22.3 rebounds plus assists. He's hit this over in 7 of 10 games. Really, the only main concern here for me is a blowout, but I don't think the Thunder or Nuggets I don't think either of those teams will be blown out. I think it'll be a closer game, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder are doubling Nikola Jokic, leading to some good assist opportunities. In Jokic's last 4 games versus the OKC Thunder, he's had 24, 22, 18, and 22 combined rebounds plus assists. And some of those games were blowouts when the Nuggets were a much healthier roster than they are today. Him only playing 28, 30 minutes and still hitting this over. Today, I think we'll see him again in the parlay of the day at the end of the video. I think he's got a good chance to maybe drop a triple-double. Maybe that's a little bit of a spoiler, but we'll take him, the reigning MVP. I rely on him. The Cookie Monster. We're taking his over, 21.5 rebounds plus assists. Moving on to another play of the day, which you'll also see in the parlay, Jae'Sean Tate. We're taking his over, 3.5 assists, minus 130 on FanDuel. Now, we're returning to Jae'Sean because he has been super nice to the Calling Our Shot community, and we want to pay it back and say thank you to Jae'Sean. Maybe we'll buy a jersey for him. And if you don't know who this guy is, don't blame you. He's on the Houston Rockets. And Houston Rockets, if you watch their games, you probably can't name more than like 3 guys that are playing out on the court if you are an NBA, diehard fan that's looking at props day in and day out. But Jae'Sean Tate, pretty good, and that's where I'll find his way into the parlay of the day. Now, my only problem here with Jae'Sean is foul trouble, because this man loves the foul just as much as Mr. Jonas Valanciunas. Let's be honest, if we can somehow avoid foul trouble for Tate, this should cash pretty easily, but I'm hoping it cashes easily regardless. Now, we look at the Rockets, so we without Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green once again. Jalen Green actually is returning tomorrow, so shout out to him. So this might be the last day we can play Tate, but Tate's been running the point guard position alongside Eric Gordon, and over his last 13 games, he's averaged 5.3 assists per game. He's hit the over in 11 of his past 13 games. His 2 misses were against the Grizzlies and the Cavaliers, both pretty good defensive teams, especially against assists. Today, that's not what he's getting. He's getting a Bucks team without Giannis Antetokounmpo Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis, and the big Ragu, and Brook Lopez, but I think he'll pass this with flying colors. He's already done it once against this Bucks team just earlier this month on December 10th. He had 9 assists in that game, and the biggest thing, he had 13 potential assists, which is higher than he has been averaging, but over his past 13 games, he's averaged 9.2 assist chances per game, and 4 of those 13 games included Kevin Porter Jr., so taking out him, I think who averaged 13 assist chances, so I think we should see a lot of assist chances for Mr. Jae'Sean Tate, assuming he can stay in the game. Over the last 15 games, the Bucks given up the 3rd most assists per game to opposing teams. The over-under for this game is at 224.5. Sportsbooks expect a high-scoring game, and as long as Jae'Sean Tate can stay out of foul trouble, we'll be riding with him. He's had, like I said, he's had 6 assists the last game, and he only played 22 minutes in that game. So I think he should be able to do it. Hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble because he loves fouling, but I think he will. We'll ride with Tate over 3.5 assists. Now, speaking of it, let's stay in the same game. I'm taking the over 224.5 points, minus 110. And sure, this is a high over-under, and unders were cashing earlier this season. They don't cash a lot these days, but this is a high over-under, and I'm ready to take the over because the Rockets are playing at the 2nd fastest pace in the NBA. The Bucks close behind them at the 10th fastest. Now the Bucks, they will be without Giannis, they'll be without Bobby Portis, be without Brook Lopez, obviously, and they'll be without the big Ragu. And the Rockets, they'll be missing Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, but when both these two teams match up, it's usually fireworks. The matchup, they matched up a couple days ago. Yeah, combined score 237 points. The matchups before that, 274, 279, 236, 228. You get the point. They score a lot of points when they match up. Now, I understand a lot of those games were with Giannis, but still, this is still a Bucks team that is capable of hitting a ton of threes and, getting to the foul line, scoring in the paint, you name it. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks are giving up the 3rd most threes per game on the season. Rockets giving up the 8th most. And I guess the biggest thing you look at it, the Rockets currently commit the 2nd most fouls per game in the NBA, leading to a lot of free throws, and that's a lot of free points for the people and to cash the over. Now, like I said, both these two teams play super fast, 2nd in pace, 10th in pace, and moving up and down the court, shooting threes, and getting to the foul line. Now, the Rockets just combined for 251 points with the Bulls, 223 with the Pistons, and basically with the Rockets, they score a lot of points if it's against a team that plays fast with them, and that will be just like the Bucks today. They will play super fast without Giannis. They'll be going up and down the court with the Pat Connaughtons, Grayson Allens of the world. Maybe even DeMarcus Cousins starts today. We'll see about that, but I like the over in this one, so we'll ride with it. Now, let's move on to my last play, and it's a speculative play because we don't have a line for it, and I don't blame them for not giving us a line. Kevin Love over in points plus rebounds. Now, shout out to Kevin Love. We actually talk about him on the podcast, so make sure you check it out. Spoiler, this is Logan's favorite player as he grew up, Kevin Love. So, I love Love, no pun intended, but the Cavaliers are taking on the Boston Celtics, and I think that's where this matchup comes in because the Cavs will likely be without their 2 starting big men, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So, and then you look at Kevin Love, he will likely get slated into the starting lineup. Now, I assume that's why sportsbooks aren't putting out a line yet because they don't necessarily know if he's officially starting, but I imagine he will start today. And really, if Kevin Love is in the starting lineup, that is the qualification. We will not take this bet unless he's in the starting lineup. Maybe we will if we know he's going to play 30 minutes tonight, but I think we'll hammer this play regardless. Now, if Love is starting, that likely means he's next to Lauri Markkanen and Dean Wade, both guys that I don't necessarily consider big rebounders, guys that necessarily aren't shooting a whole lot. Now, Kevin Love has flourished this season off the bench currently because normally he sits behind Mobley and, of course, Jared Allen. He's coming off the bench. He's playing 20 minutes per game, and he's averaging 12.2 rebounds per game, or 12.2 points per game, 7.1 rebounds per game, combined 19.3 points plus rebounds per game. Just 20 minutes of action. So can you imagine if he starts, sees 30 minutes, and plays against a team in the Boston Celtics, which can't really guard opposing centers? Yeah, you're telling me they've given up the 6th most rebounds per game to opposing centers over their last 15 games. I think Robert Williams, I love him, but he doesn't come out on the perimeter too much, so we should get some Kevin Love open threes. And I think Love is a little bit too crafty on the interior. Love is a very underrated player, in my opinion, this far into his career. The last time he took on the Celtics, he played over 30 minutes, and he dropped 30 points and 14 rebounds. His track record against the Celtics is very good, and I think he'll be able to do it again today. You look at the Cavs, they do not have a lot of offensive weapons on the roster, so I genuinely have no clue what this line will be. But if it is, if it's a little too high, maybe we pivot to double-double, which I think it might have some decent value, but I really don't know, so I'll update you in the pinned comment down below, and I'll likely talk about him on the live stream at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Now, a couple other plays unconsidered, which I will not take. Maybe I take maybe later on in the day. We'll see exactly how lineups plan out. Consider Kevin Huerter as under an assist. Not going to take it because I just don't know what the Hawks are trotting out there. And I consider Dean Wade, Kevin Love's opponent, or His starting lineup may consider is under 9.5 points, but maybe we'll add those as the day goes on. But now it's time for what you've been waiting for, and I'm sure you were waiting for the broom, but we're here to talk about the parlay of the day, and I'll put it on the screen. It is a plus 1100 parlay. It's not, one of those 17K, 16K parlays, but it is a good one. Now we have Nikola Jokic triple-double and Jae'Sean Tate 6+ assists. My two favorite player props that both came up at the earlier on in the video. Now, Jokic, you're getting plus 200 value, and Jae'Sean, you're getting plus 320 value on FanDuel. And Jokic has had a triple-double in 3 of his last 6 games versus the Thunder, and he's stretched that back to over his last 9 games. He's had a triple-double or finished 1 rebound or assist away from the triple-double in 6 of those 9 games. So he's had a good chance. I think he'll have a good chance again today if he plays the minutes against this Thunder team that I expect him to play. Just asking for a chance tonight. He's, like he said, he's had a triple-double in 4 of his last 7 games as a whole. He hasn't had one. He's only had 1 triple-double in his last 4 games. I think he's due for one. He hasn't played in a couple days. He's itching to get back on the court. You can just tell it in the Cookie Monster's eye. Weird that I'm calling him the Cookie Monster, but that's what he called himself when he got a bunch of steals at one press conference. I love him. Feels like he's due a triple-double, plus 200 value. I'll ride with it. Jae'Sean Tate, 6+ assists. You already heard me talk about his over 3.5 assists. We know we love Jae'Sean Tate. And heck, the last time I believe he was part of the 15,000 subscriber milestone parlay, and we got close because he cashed his leg. We had 6+ assists for him then. He cashed it for us, and we have 6+ assists for him here, and I'm hoping he can cash it. Now, if we look at him over his past 13 games, he's had 6+ assists in 6 of the 13 games. So the fact we're getting plus 320 value is insane. Given the great matchup, you look at the Bucks giving up the 3rd most assists per game over the last 15, and he already had 9 assists versus his team with 13 assist chances. I love the matchup. I think he can do it. He's also had 6+ assists twice in the last 3 games. Pretty good track record. One of those 2 games, he played only 22 minutes. So, of course, I'll ride with Jae'Sean, and hopefully Jokic and that parlay can combine, and the COS community can just absolutely burst with excitement and get some extra Christmas goodies or whatever it may be. But those are my 4 plays of the day. We'll update you on the pinned comment about Kevin Love because I don't know what his line will be. I'm sure they'll release the line later on in the day once we officially know Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are out and he's in the starting lineup, but we will see. And maybe we add some extra plays, but I will see you guys on the live stream, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're there. I appreciate you guys. If you do come out and show out some love, we appreciate it. But this has been Austin. Let's see if we can bring out this broom again. 4 picks of the day, maybe 5, maybe 6. We'll see how the day goes on. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. From the bottom of my heart, COS community, going to the moon. This has been Austin. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.